All right, well, good morning, everyone. It's 10 o'clock, and welcome to our WebEx this week. Today's topic is going to be why ToolkitCMA and why now? I could also say why not. So I'd like to welcome you to this one. We have only a handful of people online today, so I think that could be a sign of the holidays, but this will be archived. So no harm. Welcome, everyone, and happy holidays to everybody as we're all gearing up for the holidays. Mr. White, my favorite guest, is not with me today, but online somewhere. So good morning, Dave.
Good morning, John.
How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Oh, terrific. Thanks. All right, so my goal for you today is to walk you through Toolkit. One of the things that always comes through to me, and it's always kind of disappointing, guys, is the low usage that we get out of this program. Now, there's one or two offices that are killing it and have a high percentage of agents that are dropping in, but for the most of you, you're down like 15, 20%. Now, maybe those are the only people working this last quarter, but I find that hard to believe. You should at least have logged in the last 30 days and reviewed the new slides. So that one, and I know you were given a copy of them, so maybe that's why you didn't log in, but I've got a couple ideas for you today. Some of them came from last week, because once again, coming back from triple play, there's a tremendous shift taking place in the real estate market. Maybe you've noticed it. Maybe you're new and it's all new to you. But for many of us that have been around a while, I have a couple predictions going into next year that I think we need to sharpen some skills. And one of the great things we've done this past year is tweaked our Toolkit presentation to make it a little more hip, a little current looking. I think that's been accomplished. The slides look great. There was a lot of agent input, so that was all good. But I really hope you take advantage of this program. It is a powerful tool, and as many of you know, if you sat through my little presentation, from phone call listing presentation in less than an hour, from lead to listing, I like to call it, in less than an hour, I can make you look like a rock star, and it's all based on this program and just a little bit of time and a little bit of research. Now, I'm a strong advocate for listing properties. I always have been. It's all I know about real estate is that you need listings to be in the business. So if you don't have listings, you might not be in the business. But those are the properties that can work for you 24/7. While you're home baking cookies right now, you could have active listings that someone else is showing, or you could be shopping or attending that party. If you are working with buyers, you're the guy that's out there working while I'm off at the Colonial Park party tonight or wherever else you may end up. So having a strong listing inventory is going to serve you very well as you go through the year and have your business. So part of my tips today are based on having listings, and part of them are going to be, what are we going to do for these buyers in 2014? Buyers are getting a little harder to handle. You may have noticed that. I hear that from everybody. I believe over the next year and several years thereafter, we're going to need to sharpen our skills at turning these buyer leads into buyer clients. Get them on paper, get it done properly, and have a client that you can work with, get them under control, and get them on to closing. Part of that's going to be sharpening your skills and just doing a presentation, why hire me? And I had quite a conversation with an agent yesterday telling me how wrong I am and how mistaken I am. But, that's not what we do. But I'm telling you guys, I'm on enough multi-listing committees that my concern for you is if you don't have strong skills in landing that buyer, you're not going to be working with them, or you're going to be working with them at very low compensation. Because I see in the very near future, the next couple of years, we'll probably be negotiating with most buyers for the fee that we're going to be paid. You're seeing that in the multi-list already. There's lots of weird compensation agreements out there. A number of different business models are coming in. And as that progresses, you know, the main purpose for the multi-list was to originally determine your level of compensation that you'd be paid. That was a cooperative platform built by very early realtors. And right now, that's kind of on shaky ground for a lot of reasons I don't get, but there's a lot of national conversation. I'm on these boards to help protect our interests and make sure that we have a viable solution that keeps working for us. Otherwise, we're going to be working for guys like Zillow and Trulia who have our data, and many people like their platform better than our local multi-list. Personally, I think it's a huge mistake, and I'd invite anybody's comment on that at any time. But that being said, first thing I'd like to show you today is when we go into Toolkit, and you know that you can log into Toolkit through our NRT gateway, so it's not difficult to end up in this program. But right now, our buyer presentation is simply a buyer tour. So what I've done is gone through, reviewed the slides, and looked at the pre-listing presentation and selected the ones that in reading through them spoke to me that I could present them to a buyer and I think make a pretty good presentation on why would you hire me. Now, let's go back to the home page for a second. If your home page doesn't have a professional photo and complete information, hey, you have time to do that right now. So go into Preferences and edit your profile. Secondly, make sure you have a strong resume page. I hear from so many people, I don't know what to add, I don't have this, I don't have that. Well, the one thing I know you have this time of year is time. You're not in the offices because I can't find you. The numbers don't reflect that you're out killing yourselves, and I'm all for parties and shopping and so forth, but anybody that knows me knows that first and foremost, I'm all about business. So take some time between now and February 1, spend some time in Toolkit, and tweak your resume page, tweak your profile, and then this program becomes super powerful. So like I said, I created a pre-listing presentation by selecting pages that I liked, created them as my default page or my default settings, and right now, with the click of two buttons, I can go ahead and create a buyer presentation and let Toolkit do all the heavy lifting and start to utilize these newly formatted pages and these new messages. And what you're seeing, and hopefully it's coming through nice and clear, is me building a Toolkit presentation just that quickly. I think there's, for my purposes, about a dozen pages in here that could work for a buyer. But I'd like to demonstrate to that buyer why they may need to work with me. You all have your own style. You'll develop your own word. You'll develop your own presentation. But do something. We've got a nice, clean look. Toolkit does a great job of branding every page for you. I personally like to show them our market presence. If you're new in the business and you don't have any buyers and you don't have any sellers, one thing that you do have is a large market footprint. You have a great presence that you can leverage in the marketplace. And you have a jack-on profile page. All of you that are starting out with me know that I'm pounding you on developing and enhancing your individual profile page, because I can demonstrate to a buyer, why work with me? Well, I have access to all of the data on this map, and certainly anything in the nation if you take my second course. But right through my own profile page, I can take you into this area and show you everything that's current, that's on the market within minutes of it being listed. We have a national and global presence, and we're going to enhance that next year because we are knocking on the door of becoming a platinum broker for Cardiff. Also, we have the military network. Maybe you're meeting with a buyer, and as a thank you, like our friend Linda Ott is promoting yesterday, as a thank you for their military service, if you're a USAA member, we can put cash back in your pocket as part of your purchase. Now, for some of you, that might go against your grain. For others, you might say, what a great way to acknowledge our servicemen. And it will be a great source of referrals because they're going to send their friends to you. You're probably the only agent in the room that's offering to do something for them on a cash basis as part of their transaction. And so we can support our military families that way. Yesterday, we had a check presentation to MDA. Jack Cohen gave $10,000 to MDA this year as a result of our fundraising efforts across the company, from the golf outing, different local events within your offices, and we still maintain that leadership in donations to MDA in the ERA network. You know, that plays very well with the public. We just don't do a very good job of promoting it. So be your own promoter. That, as part of what I do, I also give back to the community. Perhaps you have your own special program. I know many of you did. Might be a great time to bring that up in securing a buyer. Today we're going to be listing buyers just like we're listing sellers. We have full service support. We have a great team. So we're going to be bringing in secured land, and I think it's a greater benefit when we're working with the buyer than when we talk with the seller, because we don't have control over which title company will be involved. On the buyer side, we do. Our mortgage process, once again, plays a little better on the buyer side because we have more control of where that buyer is going to go, our recommendations to the buyer. And for me, I always like a strong ERA loan pre-approval. Homebase. If you're not familiar with Homebase, I'm going to be doing another WebEx very shortly on the ins and outs of Homebase to help you get familiar, because in 2014 we've got our Less Paper initiative. I'd like you to be familiar with Homebase more so we're getting more usage, and we're rolling out some new parts very shortly. It's being enhanced once again, and I think it'll give you some relief. And as we're going paperless, and I know you're doing zip forms, many of you have gone into DocuSign. We're blowing up our email system. Well, here's the great place to start parking those documents. And as far as I know, we don't have any storage limitations. There certainly won't be problems because of documents. That's what it's been designed for. And the other thing, buyers and sellers actually love the access to this system. It's super convenient for them. And they got that do-it-yourself mentality that we can really support by showing them this program. How's the market doing? Again, a great conversation to have with a buyer so they don't run around with weird ideas, that they can walk in, offer somebody half of what they're asking because, hey, I'm a buyer. And there's a lot of stuff sitting around. Maybe we need to show them the market just as if I was listing a home, get their attention so we can have some real opportunities to sell them something at a fair price and maximize your time instead of showing them 40 homes. Come on, guys, 40 homes. And then finish it off with a resume. How'd you get here? Maybe you want to open with your resume, but at least have it in the deck. So let's get started and see what we can do with some buyers and sellers by utilizing our Toolkit programs. Don't really do much with it with buyers, but those days are coming, and I hope you see some value in that little piece of the presentation. So let's go back to the start. So we want to create that presentation. And for me, anyone that knows me knows that I'm not showing up at your home for any listing opportunity, CMA, whatever. And I also stress this for open houses. Wouldn't it be great to know what's going on in the neighborhood when you go for an open house so that you can tell people the presence in the neighborhood, what the year's experience has been, whether you're dealing with a buyer or looking for that next seller. So let's take a presentation, and we're going out to list a home, my favorite thing to do. So we're going to do a listing presentation. You know we've got all these forms that are available to us. I'm not going to spend my time showing you all the pages in there. Log in and take a look at them. So I'm going to clear that one out. But let's have a little fun with this one today. Think out of the box. I've got one or two ideas that might pique your curiosity or get you thinking differently about Toolkit. So I've always dodged anything that says subject property because it's going to want something from me. It's going to want a picture. It's going to want information that I don't have. But for today, I'm selecting the listing presentation with the cover page with the subject property. And I have a fun idea for you there. All the other pieces are the marketing pieces, and this is not intended to be a marketing presentation for you today. This is a how to use this and why. I love the map of comparable properties, but now they've added an aerial map. So whichever one works better for you, today we'll select them both, and then you can decide which one is better. I don't know the nature of the the seller I'm going out to list tonight. So I don't know if he's analytic. I don't know if he's a creative guy. So I'm going to do it in two different formats. I love the picture CMA with the 3 properties per page. And along with that, I'm going to do the 5-column CMA. So if I've got an analytic, it throws everything into a spreadsheet format. They can't resist this one. Going to add my resume to that, and I'm pretty much ready to go. Again, what's my purpose? Well, to list your home. But maybe it's for that open house, and I want to demonstrate what's going on in the neighborhood. So we're going to select those items, and let's go next. You might have favorite pages. Live it up. Pick whichever pages you like. There's a lot to pick from. Someday I have to meet the person that lives at 123 East Main Street because I have been using this address in so many presentations that by now I feel like I know these people. I don't even know if there is a 123 East Main in Palmyra. But to get past that page, you're always going to need at least a zip code and an address. So you know where you're going, make a selection. Not to slight anybody, but just to keep things moving today, I'm going to be working with the Paragon system for Harrisburg. That's my home court. It's my show, Home Court Advantage. But make sure you know how to integrate something from your multi-list. And for those of you in MRIS, especially Scott Palmer down there in Greencastle, you guys know I landed on my head earlier this year. I am coming back. I have access, and I now understand more of MRIS than I did before. So I am coming for you. So we're simply going to select our multi-list. If you don't know how to download and integrate this data, hit the MLS download guide, and it will give you step-by-step instructions. They're very clear, and it's very simple. So let's connect to the multi-list. And I've cheated. I already have a window open. So I'm going to go to the home page. And it really doesn't matter what I select today. So for our purposes, I'm going to just pick on the properties that had a price change. It's 7 properties. It's a nice group of homes. And it won't be consistent like it would be for a presentation where I could just simply build a search and do it. I hope you understand. I'm going to select all the properties, and I'm going to export them to my favorite custom exports. We're selecting Realty Toolkit, and that's all we need to do. Select. These are all the defaults. Hit export. Here's the departure from the way it always worked in the past. Today we're going to save it. As you can see, I've been saving them here, same location for other purposes. Do not alter the name. That just doesn't end well. And we're going to save it. Now right now it's exporting the pictures and all the listing data for 7 homes. And it's just that simple. So we've exported them. We'll go right back to where we began on that selection page. We're going to browse for the file we just created. So make sure you know where you parked. Mine is living in my WebEx folder. This one was just created a few seconds. That one was created before. This one was just created. So I just select my folder and upload it. And this is always what I call the leap of faith moment for this program as it incorporates that data. But if my screen's keeping pace out there for you, you're seeing that we're uploading and creating the presentation. So we have all of our properties have crossed over. We need to select them, so I'm simply going to check all. It's looking for a subject property for my property. So I thought it would be fun to kind of open our mind a little bit. And what would you like that front page to show? I haven't been to your home. I could scrape a picture off of the tax site, and that's fine. Maybe you'd like a little different talking point. I don't know what might work for you. Today I'm going to put some stats on the front page. And let's go, let's see what we've come up with. So this should be about a 12-page report. And this is the part I love about this program. We've been on this call now for 23 minutes. In 23 minutes, we've discussed a buyer's presentation. We reviewed some pages. And now we've downloaded properties, created a seller's report, and I'm ready to come to your house. And so I've created a front page, and instead of a picture of a home, what I've done is just simply dropped in one of our insight reports for an actual listing. And so now instead of just any blank page or skipping it all together, I've got a talking point here on page number 1 where I can show you what the web views are going to be of your property once it's listed with me. I don't know where this falls into your presentation. Maybe it doesn't fall in there at all, but I do know that it plays very well with the public when they view these things. So instead of just any random picture, we can drop anything in there. It's limited only by your imagination. So your agent profile page, maybe another listing that you have, maybe a screenshot of your ERA microsite that's going to be created. And so it can be a great little bit of, oh, by the way, when your home is active with us, here's a screenshot of a microsite that we'll create from the pictures that I upload. And it'll be living on YouTube, and I'll be mailing a copy with a link to this to your neighbors, one of my first steps, whatever you might do. Always loved the mapping feature. And now that they've gone to this aerial photo, these are all the properties that I've selected. Gives you the legend down below and the maps on the area. Since there was absolutely no pattern to this, they're all over the place, so it's really pretty much zoomed out. But if I did just your neighborhood, I'm going to zoom in, and all you're going to see are the couple streets in your neighborhood. So you've come to my open house, and I'm giving you the product report for what's happening around the neighborhood in the last quarter. I think that's a real valuable tool to get people in the door. So this is the standard map, the aerial map. Aerial map, again, this scale is a little vague, but this is a great one to play with. Data is the same. Comparable properties. Here's how it lays them out in the 3-up format. And for those analyticals out there, we've thrown it into a spreadsheet format also. finish them off with a resume, and you're pretty much ready to present to anybody. Always my favorite feature in here are the different formats and the fact that I can do that in a matter of minutes. Now we're able to save this. This is in a PDF format. We're able to save this. We're able to store it on their system, on our system, throw it in Dropbox, present it on your iPad. You're ready to go any number of ways. But real simple to cut to the chase and develop a nice presentation piece that I know stands out because I present these all the time. This is my favorite format and favorite program to use. I had another thought as we go along, and from here we can save our presentation, hop back and create another one, email it directly from here. Just viewed it. There's a little summary of what we created. Nice little program. So let's do something a little different. I know many people are always looking for the perfect property flyer to show. Have you considered using a flyer as a marketing piece for yourself? And I just recently had this idea, actually last week during the triple play. I started thinking of different uses for this program. The thing that I like is that our branding is so strong on some of these reports. Now, naturally, you can use them for any of your properties, but today I'm out to promote myself because I want to go out and capture more buyers. So red is more of an ERA color, so let's do the Potomac Red. It's going to feature us at the top and our contact information. So once again, make sure that your information is complete within the system. Now we can add pictures and we can add bullet points, and that's all good. So let's give this one some thought. So we can connect to the multi-list once again and download that flyer information. So we can pick any property that calls to us. For this purpose, I guess I'll grab one that belongs to me. And we're going to export this just as before. Realty Toolkit. This is only one property, so it's going to be very, very quick for us. And I hope the slides and the screens are keeping up with me out there. I guess I'll find out when I come back and do the replay. This was just created. So we'll upload that file. Same process, and we're creating a flyer. But we're going to go a little bit left on this one. So we've got one property. It imported our information correctly. So we have the ability to do this. Now, depending on what it is you'd like to do, right now I could edit this copy and have it say anything that I want. So when I come to market your home, I'll be creating this, I'll be creating that. So I have total control over these photos, so let's put in some fun photos. So maybe you're going to build a custom website for your particular property. Maybe you'd like to show them those stats once again. And what else? And where is your property going to be marketed? So we simply upload those photos, and we're going to create that flyer. Let's see what it's done for us. So we've created a custom flyer, strong branding for ourselves at the top, has Jack Gaughan listed, office numbers, so we're in compliance there. But what I've done is added in the main photo of the property, and then I've turned it into a marketing piece. And so when I list your home, here's a website that I'm going to build. Maybe it's the Jack Gaughan website. Maybe you do something separate or differently than anyone else. Well, I would recommend that you promote that. Here are the web views I'll be able to share with you about that property. And here's all the property or all the locations, the main portals or marketing partners where your property will be featured. And then secondly, it tells that there's over 700 additional websites. It tells a great story. It's a great graphic. I love all the branding that is incorporated, and I stole this straight out of Toolkit. So it's a great way to mush it all together and do a high-speed presentation, or just to have something in your case. Should someone say, hey, if we've talked about selling our home, what would you do? Whip this piece out. Guys, well, here's a quick little presentation piece. This could be an email. You can do anything you want with this. Also, once it's created, Toolkit's going to ask you what you want to do with it. Would you like to post it to Twitter or Facebook, or just save it, or print it, or email it? Once you have this created, you've got access, and you can shoot this out any number of ways, depending on what your marketing is. So you have an open house coming up, tweak it a little bit, and make it an open house flyer. But add some pictures that tell some additional story. Change the verbiage to suit your purpose, and put it out there for the world to see. Simple solution, but a neat way to use this flyer in a little different form than what you've been doing in the past, if you've been using them at all. Like I said, the usage is actually kind of disturbingly low on this program for how powerful it can be. So I hope this gives you a couple new ideas of how to promote this product, use it, promote yourselves, market your properties, and kind of open up your imagination a little bit. One of the things it also does is create things available to show right on your tablet. So if you've got a tablet, your Android or iPad, it will format them immediately, and they're ready to go for you. So we can view them in a second. And at this point, it's really just creating a PDF. That front image could be anything you want. This was a little sample I was doing. So why not make yourself look like a professional? If you have a professional or a business page for Facebook, maybe you'd like to feature that on the front. Let's reinforce your brand. Let's drive them to the stuff where we have control, whether it's your Jack Gaughan profile page or a blog or a website that you control and create. Maybe it's a YouTube channel that you want them to be aware of, and you can simply bury that right here in the front page with a URL so they know how to find it. Any number of ways that you can start to cross-market yourself this year, I think is going to be a benefit to you. We're entering a time where, it takes something extra. Hopefully this year we're going to see the market pick up the way I expect. Listings are going to be really the strength in the business, but also being able to convert buyers, if that's your choice, to be more of a buyer agent. You need to be able to convert them. During Triple Play, there was a presentation on procuring cause. I didn't sit through it. I'm not a big believer. I think the days of procuring cause are past. I think today you need the forms signed, you need them in hand, and you need to have a professional relationship with the buyer. The sooner you can get to that, the more money you're going to make. That's my hope for you in 2014. Guys, I've enjoyed doing these more than you know. And like I said, I missed my special guest in the control room here, Mr. White. That was fun last week. I hope you all enjoyed it. we'll be doing more with guests, and I'll be doing more on location after the first of the year. Don't think you're going to see me next week. Taking a week off, just like the rest of you, so I hope you have a great holiday season with your family and friends. Stay safe, have fun, and get ready for 2014. It's time to make money.